Yes, it's Halo time. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Team Elevation Wednesday live training. Welcome, everybody. It is Wednesday. It is Hump Day. It is Wealth Wednesday. And we're excited that you're here, excited that you joined us. Those of you, whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching this on the recording tonight, you're going to be sure, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, to get your notepad out because you're going to want to take some notes. You're going to want to pay attention. You're going to want to focus in because this is going to be an outstanding training. As many of you know, I mean, I don't have to introduce you to Denise because everybody knows who she is. But let me tell you, Denise, a lot of you don't know that this is not her first rodeo. She's had success. She's built big teams and other companies prior to coming here. She was with a company, did extremely well, that went out of business. And so one day had built this big team. And she got an email message that said, guess what? No more checks coming. We're done. And we're so lucky and blessed here that we don't ever have to worry about that because, being with Eddie and Touchstone around 30 years, great company, great founder, was just on top of it. But Denise is one of those people that just brings this wisdom to the group, these pearls of wisdom. And we talk all the time. I'm always picking her brain. I'm always saying, hey, what do you think about this? Or we're communicating on what's going on with the team. And so I want you to tune in and pay attention because literally she is somebody who can bring it. She does bring it. She's one of our top producers. She's got one of the fastest growing teams in the company. And so with that, Denise, I am turning it over to you.
You make me sound so good.
Yeah, you are good. You are good. You
guys, I am totally psyched to be here because I have some cool stuff to share with you all on this Wednesday. All right, so I'm just going to get right to it. We have all heard, I think, most of us have heard the term or the phrase, the fortune is in the follow-up, because it is. And what I want to talk about tonight is a little bit about follow-up, and I'm going to give you a system. Maybe you have a system already, maybe you don't. If you have one already and you're using it, and it works for you, then awesome, keep doing that. But if you don't have one, or if you struggle with that, which I have struggled with this particular topic, which is why I kind of wanted to train on it. So, all right, so let me start with what is follow-up? I know that sounds kind of silly. Of course, we know what follow-up is. Do you? Because there's a few things that I thought about that I hadn't thought about prior. First of all, obviously, follow-up means we are going to go back to the people that we talked to about the business, about the product, and we are going to follow up with them to find out if they're interested. Did they look at the materials we sent them? Whatever the case may be, there's going to be potential customers, potential business partners that you've reached out to that you want to follow up with, and you're going to do that. But the other piece about follow-up that I think sometimes we forget in network marketing, we work so hard to find the people. We find them, we get them information, they try our products. Maybe they don't join the business, they become a customer, which is great. And then we forget about them. Thank you so much, bye-bye. Kind of like, slam bam, thank you, ma'am, out the door. Okay, maybe they're a regular customer, and they order every month. Maybe they order, every quarter. Whatever the case may be, part of your follow-up needs to, in my opinion, include what I'm going to call customer care. So there's the customer care follow-up piece. And the reason why this is important is because I feel like this is where we leave some money on the table, if you will. Maybe you worked hard to get this customer and they are using our CBD product and they love it, okay? Maybe you did a first follow-up to make sure they received it and all was good. They know how to take it and whatnot. And then you kind of just left them because they seem happy. So, why bother? You're on to the next, which is great. But if you took some time out of your schedule in your follow-up, in the time that you've scheduled for follow-up, because we all schedule that time, right? This is an area where you can check back with those people, find out what they love best about the product, how it's working for them. Is it still working well for them? What other issues in that conversation? You may find some other issues that they have that you have solutions for. Maybe it's somebody who has a really busy schedule and they have trouble adding things into the routine. But now this particular product is successfully added into their routine, and maybe they can handle another product added into the routine. So you may get some additional business from new products out of that. I think sometimes we tend not to follow up afterward because we're a little bit afraid. We're afraid maybe, what if they don't like it? What if they had a problem? Well, that's even more reason to follow up because, as we all know, Touchstone is spectacular. You guys, we have a 30-day money-back guarantee. If somebody is not happy, we need to know about it right away, because often what impresses people the most, and I have had customers turn to business partners simply by the way that the company handled whatever their issue was, whether it was a product return or maybe it's somebody who's using a product incorrectly. You don't know about it, and they're telling everybody how the CBD doesn't work because they're not doing it right. And if you follow up, you're going to find that information out and you can rectify that situation. So a couple things about what follow-up is. Now, I have some statistics to share with you before I talk about the system that I use. And these statistics are kind of shocking, but they're good to remember because it kind of sets the tone for what we kind of already know we need to do. On average, 2% of sales are made at the first contact. Only 2%. That's not very much. On the second contact, 3% of the sales are made at second contact. 5% of the sales are made on third contact. And if you have the wherewithal to follow up with somebody a fourth time, you're going to hit up 10% of those sales are made by the fourth follow-up. 80% of all sales made are often on the 5th to the 12th follow-up. Now, be honest with yourselves. How many people follow up 5 to 12 times after hearing no or crickets or whatever? The truth of the matter is 44% of people give up after the first follow-up. You hear no, or you hear, I don't know, or maybe crickets are chirping and nobody responded and you're on to the next. You don't have time for that, is what you tell yourself. So after your first attempt, 44% of us give up. Only 8% of us follow up in that 5 to 12 times. That's where the majority of the sales are made, you guys. So follow-up is key. How are you going to do it? You might be saying, oh, that's great, but I don't know, I always forget. That was me. I mean to follow up. I have good intentions, and I was finding that I'm leaving a lot of money on the table, a lot of opportunities missed, a lot of things falling through the cracks because I got ADD, and that's not an excuse. I just know my brain is 100 miles an hour, and I tend to write things on little pieces of paper on my desk. I have little notes written all over the place. And so I may chat with somebody and I would jot it down, or I would say, oh, I heard a good idea. Like I put it in the notes of my phone, or I tell my phone to remind me. That doesn't always work for me. I'm not the greatest with technology. And I've tried notebooks. I have a lot of notebooks. a lot of sticky notes, and I would try to write it in my calendar. Sometimes there's not enough room to write the things that I need to write. So I came across this system years ago, and it worked well for me. And for whatever reason, I don't know if this happens to you guys, but we sort of fall off the train. We stopped doing what was working, and I don't even know how I stopped doing it, but I have resurrected it, and it's making a big difference for me. And this is a system I'm just going to call the index. It's the index card system. And basically, I just bought stacks of index cards, and I bought an index card box. And now you can get a small one like this at a like a office supply store or Walmart or whatever. They also have large ones. So as you increase the system and you really get a lot of leads and you're doing a lot of follow-up, you may need that. But for right now, this is what I have. And what I did was I bought some tabs, and I hope you can see this. All these tabs are by month. All right. So I have all the month tabs, all the little month dividers right here. And the month dividers go in the back of the system. Then I bought dividers that are numbered, and they're numbered for the days of the month. And as you can see, I have January up front here, and 20 is the first one here because it's the 20th a month. So when you open, so tomorrow on the 21st, I'm going to go there and I'm going to pull out these cards. And I have notes written on here, different people that I have meetings with or follow up that I have to do, people that I've reached out to. So basically what happens is when you make contact with somebody, you're going to take out your index cards, your blank index cards, and you can do one, or I've just decided I'm going to do two for each person. I'm going to fill out two cards, one with just their contact information, and I'm going to get a second box, and I'm going to file them alphabetically just for future reference. Name, phone, email. Then the other card, I'm going to put name, phone, and email, and any notes I have about that person. Now, I have some in here that I used at events, right? And I made little numbers, or this is actually a gift card number that I gave to the person. So I was remembering what I gave to them. But I might make little notes like, lady with red hair, 4 kids, suffers with arthritis. Whatever, little notes that I want to remember. So I remember who that person is and what their needs are, what they're looking for. And then I'm going to put them behind the day that I'm going to follow up. So if I met somebody today on the 20th and I said to them, I gave them information, perhaps I sent them something today. And I'm going to follow up with them, let's say on the 24th. So I would slide the card behind the 24th. Then on the 24th, I'm going to pull out the cards that I have to follow up with that day. I'm going to make my follow-up calls, and I'm going to write on there the information. So, January 20th, 3 p.m., left a message for Susie. She ghosted me. whatever you want to write. Or maybe you had a conversation with her and she needed some additional information, or maybe she was interested in doing a 3-way call with somebody else and you're going to schedule that. So you said to her, why don't I check back with you on Wednesday? So then you're going to put that card back in on that date. So on that date, you can pull it out. This has been hugely helpful to me, especially before COVID when I was doing live events, because I just brought index cards with me and I had the person write their name, their phone number, and their email. And I did this like if they wanted to get on my mailing list or win my drawing for $50 off, and they would fill out the information. And then I already have that information here. And you can have, you may have a lot of follow-up with someone. Maybe you're following up with someone over a year's time, because as we've learned, you want to keep them in the hopper. Now, if somebody really is not interested, then sometimes what I'll do is I'll make a little note, and then I'll take the card out of here and I'll staple it to their contact info that I have in the other box. Because you never know, maybe down the road that person might contact you, or you may have another reason to get back with them. So I hope this was a little helpful system. Now, these index cards and all these dividers, I just ordered on Amazon. You can get them, they're cheap. This little plastic box, totally cheap. This is a great little system. Like I said, if you don't currently use anything, try it. If it doesn't work for you, or you might want to tweak it to whatever you need, but it is a great way. And by the way, if you're on the road a lot like me, or you're really busy, this also is easy. You could carry this whole box with you. Not that you want to take this in and out of appointments, but if you're in the car, if you're driving somewhere, or just maybe you're gone for the day, you can take out the index cards. Maybe you work a full-time job and you're going to do some follow-up on your lunch hour. You can pull out the cards for that day, put them in your briefcase or your purse or whatever you take to work with you, in your lunch box, whatever. And you can follow up while you're there. Make your little notes and then refile them when you come home. But definitely a cool system, a little flexible. Oh, a couple extra. I made a couple notes here that, of course, I'm not looking at because I made the time to make the notes, but I'm not looking at the notes. Cold calls, the statistic is that it takes 8 attempts to reach a prospect. So if you're trying to reach somebody a couple of times and you give up, have heart, because statistically it's 8 times is the magic number. And then if you are cold calling people, I read a couple of things that said between 4 o'clock in the afternoon and 5 o'clock are the best times for cold calling. So, Alan, I don't know if you're still there. You guys have any questions?
I'm absolutely here. And wow.
All in the box, baby.
I love it. Yeah. It's business in a box.
Business in a box.
Business in a box. Does anybody have any questions they would like to type in the notes? Everybody's talking about how much they love it. Excellent system. It's funny because the statement, people don't realize how powerful that is, the fortunes in the follow-up.
Total fortune.
When 80-90% of the sales are made by 3% of the people, then be one of those 3%. Just be one of those 3%, and you keep following up.
By the way, I do have a little slide on that, which I'll post afterward. Yep. If you're freaking out, like, oh my gosh, I didn't write those stats down. Don't worry.
She's going to share it.
I'm going to follow up.
Yeah. I remember when I was in the restaurant business and I used to travel, and I had restaurants all over the country and hundreds of them. And I used to carry a notebook similar to that, and it was a calendar type notebook. And I would say, okay, so, hey, we need to make sure that we have that roof painted on that particular restaurant, or we need to do this, or you need to take care of that. And I would write that in my little follow-up thing. And then when I would come back in town, I had a book for each one of my district managers. I had lots of district managers. And so this would be, John or Mary. I had one lady, Susan, in Fayetteville. And I would pull out Susan's book. And so I would be going through my book. And they were used to seeing me with that book. And I would say something along the line, did we get the roof painted over on such and such? And they'd go, you got the best memory.
Oh,
it's amazing how you remember stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I wrote that down. But
it really does take a while to sort of craft a system for yourself, because truthfully, I mean, I didn't think to myself when I first got into this business, oh yeah, I got to think of a system for follow-up. No, I just wrote it in a notebook on a piece of paper, on the date, called this person, going to follow up on this date. But then I would have things crossed out and I would have arrows and it would be all messy. And I look at that and it makes my brain go crazy. And then I have to constantly look through all the pages to see, and I would inevitably miss people or what have you. So this has really worked
Or you're going back through, one of your books, and I'm a book person too, and a note, and having my book that I write stuff in, and you'll go, oh golly, I remember I talked to them 4 months ago. Or here's what's even worse. This is the worst, is when you send a message to Susie Q. Susie Q is the one I talk to all the time. And you talk to her and you shared information with her and you didn't follow up with her. And 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, 6 weeks later, Susie Q goes on social media and posts, I've just joined the most amazing company to help me earn additional income on a part-time basis. And you're going, oh, I was supposed to follow up.
I know.
Susie Q. Yep.
Well, you know what? I think that the customer follow-up piece is big too, because I think we totally miss that. And you guys, I don't know about you all, but when somebody's following up with me and they say to me, hey, Denise, I met you 2 months ago at blah, blah. Hey, how was that such and such party that you went to? Like the stuff that they remember, if you can make little notes, gosh, it makes people feel so special when you say, hey, Mary, I know you've been busy. You said you needed a month or two, so I just wanted to check in. Hey, how was Johnny's wedding? How did that go? Yeah. Oh my gosh, they are like feeling so happy. Not only were they heard, but you remembered and cared enough to ask, and that speaks volumes.
That's so powerful. I mean, it carries me to that quote that says, people don't care what you know until they know that you care.
100%.
And so when you follow up and make those kind of comments, they truly feel that you do care about them and you are concerned with them. And listen, here's the deal. We have a less than a 1% return rate on our product. So chances are they like it. But here's what's more important is when
if they're using it.
Yeah.
Chances are they like it. But I've followed up with a couple of customers who bought hundreds of dollars of product and they haven't even cracked the package open.
Yes. So make sure when you order
7 months before she tried it.
Well, put in your little calendar thing there, your little business in a box. Hey, Denise ordered today. Today is the 20th and it's a Wednesday. So she ordered before, noon today. And so it probably should be there by next Tuesday or Wednesday. So next Wednesday, now here's a little tip for you. You can send customer support an email. Hey, can you send me the tracking number for Susie Q's order? She ordered today. Her ID number is. They'll send you the tracking number.
Yeah.
Now, what is that? Well, I pick up the phone and I go, hey, Denise, listen, I see you got your package today. They're like, really? And they're excited that you knew, number one, or they'll go, really? It must be on my porch. Let me go look. Oh my gosh, you're right. There it is.
Yeah. You just made me think of something else. You can buy colored index cards. I got green for Touchstone. Let's say that you're following up with somebody who then becomes a customer. Yeah. Maybe you then want to change their information onto a green card so you can quickly know that anybody you see that's green is a customer. And when I was in another business, I used to have a system, the 222 system, and this was in the jewelry business. So it might be different for this. I have to think about that, but this just popped into my head. 2 days would be when I would call them, say, it was so nice to meet you at so-and-so's party. Thank you so much for placing an order. You should have it by this day.
Yep.
Then I would figure out when they had it. And about 2 weeks after that, I would call to see what they loved about it, what was their favorite thing, whatever.
Yep.
Then about 2 months after that, I would follow up again, because a lot of times by that time, they might have questions. They might want other things. They might want to have a party or whatever. So having some kind of follow-up system like that, maybe for those of you who have a large customer base, maybe that's a whole nother box, whatever. But the point is that the system's flexible and you can really morph it into a lot of different things, and you can color code.
Yeah, I love that. I love the color coding idea. Green means they're a customer. Hey, that's awesome. And follow up when they get it. Let me, because it'll get it, and here's a big one. Boost Focus Fuel says dosage 3. If you take 3, you're gonna be rocking.
I did it. I did it when I first got it because I looked on the bottle. I'm like, it says 3. And I remember calling you and going, oh my God, are you supposed to take all 3?
I said, no, it's 1 3 times. And she called me, did a live video. She was hanging from the ceiling. Going,
yeah, but you know what? That's a big thing. That is a big thing. Sometimes they've learned about the product and they've ordered it, but they can't remember what they're supposed to take when and how many and whatever is specific to their needs. So it is important. I think that it sometimes also helps with the retention rate because we've all had the people that they seem to be like, oh, they're all about it, right? And they're using the product and they're reordering, and then all of a sudden they disappear, never to be heard from again. Yeah, because they fell off the train, you guys. We all fall off the train. We do it, and we fall off the train, okay? So they're not connected, but if you're calling them, that's different. If back in the day that I used to use Mary Kay products, man, that lady was on it. And if she called me, good for her, because I would always place an order.
Yeah.
But if she didn't call me and I ran out, I would mean to call her, but I wouldn't. I would mean to go on and order, but I wouldn't. Yeah. I would get something shiny at the department store. Oh, look, I'll try this. Yeah.
So. You're in CVS and you go, look, I'm out of that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and oh, by the way, it's $6 versus $16. So when she calls back again the next time, you go, oh, I found one that works just as good, and blah blah. And you're not going to tell her, oh, by the way, it's less
exactly.
expensive. Yeah. So
anyway, saying his uncle took 3 times in the morning, afternoon.
Yeah. He didn't sleep for 4 days.
He was boosted.
He was boosted. He was boosted.
Oh my God.
He said, "You trying to kill me?" I love that. So listen, great advice, Denise. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing amazing information. And that is something that we all needed to hear, me included. And so I hope everybody took lots of notes and learned and realized that, you know what, this is a relationship business, and part of building your relationship is following up with people and letting them know you care.
Roger that.
Yeah.
Well, so thanks for listening, everybody. I hope everyone has a fabulous night.
All righty. Thank you. Y'all have a blessed night.
11. Bye.